I made a promise that there will never be a reason for us to get a divorce. We will work through whatever. And I just haven't been able to break that promise.
Jada Smith has found herself back in the spotlight once again. For years, her life has fascinated the world, not just for her fame, but for her honesty, resilience, and the way she has navigated challenges behind the cameras.
There's a whole chunk in this book. There's a whole backstory there, too. I mean, she's saying things that she's never said, so they've kind of been living this pretend life publicly.
Recently, small but powerful moments of openness have captured the public's attention, sparking conversations, questions, and curiosity about what she is truly experiencing. From personal reflections to the dynamics of her family life, every detail has become part of a larger story the world is eager to understand. Now, with fresh insights and closer examination, we take a deeper look into Jada's journey, uncovering the truths, challenges, and transformations behind her current path. Join us as we explore what's really going on with Jada Smith today. Why Jada Smith is back in the spotlight. Lately, many people have been looking toward Jada Smith again, almost as if a bright light suddenly turned in her direction. It happened slowly at first. A few whispers online, a few posts from fans wondering how she was doing, and then suddenly, her name was everywhere. It felt like the whole world pressed pause just to ask the same question. What is happening with her right now? Why are so many eyes back on her life? For a long time, Jada stepped in and out of the public view like someone walking along the edge of the ocean. Sometimes she was close enough for everyone to see her clearly, and sometimes she moved back into the quiet where only her family and close friends could hear her voice. People thought they understood her story because she often spoke openly about her life. But this time, something felt different. Something felt heavier, more personal, and perhaps even a little painful. In the last few weeks, fans began to notice small changes. They noticed the way she looked during interviews, the things she chose to share, and even the things she did not say. It was as if she was trying to hold a gentle smile, even while carrying a weight she did not fully explain. The internet reacted fast, turning every tiny detail into a big headline. Some said she seemed tired. Others said she looked stronger than ever. But the truth is that only she knows how her heart feels, and everyone else is simply guessing from the outside. Part of the reason she is trending again is because of the things she has revealed recently. Whenever Jada speaks about her past or her challenges, people listen very closely. She has always been honest in a way that makes people feel like she is sitting beside them, telling a personal story. Some admire her for this. Some question her. Some feel confused. But no matter how people respond, they still listen. And that is why her name keeps rising to the top of conversations. Another reason Jada is in the spotlight is the constant attention surrounding her family. Her life is tied to people the world already knows and watches closely. When something shifts in her world, the ripple spreads far and wide. People talk about her home, her choices, her relationships, and even her silence. Sometimes the attention feels warm, almost like a soft blanket of support. Other times, it can feel cold and sharp, like a spotlight that never turns off. Even though many people think they understand her life, the truth is that much of her story remains unseen. Jada has always seemed like someone who carries layers within her. There is the side she shares with the world, the side she keeps for herself, and the side she protects for those she loves. When she appears on camera, she speaks with calm and confidence. But you can sometimes feel that something much deeper sits behind her eyes. People sense this, and it makes them wonder what she is facing now. Recently, the conversations around Jada have grown louder, not because she did something dramatic, but because she allowed small pieces of her heart to show again. She talked about moments of confusion, moments of growth, and moments where she had to find herself all over again. These are the kinds of things many people go through quietly. But when someone famous goes through it, the world watches closely. Some watch with kindness. Some watch with judgment. But everyone watches. What makes this moment especially powerful is that Jada seems to be standing at a turning point. She is not hiding, but she is not oversharing either. She is simply letting people see her human side. This makes her relatable, fragile, and strong all at once. It reminds people that she is not just a celebrity. She is a woman who feels, thinks, learns, and makes mistakes just like everyone else. Many people say they want to understand her better, but understanding someone takes time. In Jada's case, it takes even more time because her life has been filled with twists, surprises, joys, and heartbreaks. These experiences shape her, and they show up in everything she does. This is why the world cannot stop talking about her. There is something happening beneath the surface, something that feels like the beginning of a new chapter. As the light grows brighter around her again, one thing becomes clear. People are not just curious about Jada. They are searching for the truth behind the noise. They want to know what changed. They want to know why she speaks the way she does now. They want to understand the emotions she carries quietly. And the only way to understand that fully is to look at the moment that triggered this entire wave of attention. Somewhere along the way, something happened that made everyone turn their heads at once. What sparked the latest conversation? Everything started with a moment that seemed small at first, almost like a tiny spark floating in the air. No one expected it to spread or grow or gather so much attention. But sometimes the quietest moments are the ones that surprise everyone the most. And that is exactly what happened with Jada. It began when she shared a story that came straight from a tender place inside her. She was speaking calmly, almost softly, as if she was remembering something she had carried for a long time. Her voice did not shake, but there was a gentle heaviness in her words, a weight that people could feel even through a screen. She talked about a period in her life when she felt lost, when she felt unsure of where she was going or even who she was supposed to be. It was not loud or dramatic. It was simply honest. And that honesty was the spark. People paused. They replayed her words. They stopped scrolling. They began to whisper. Some said they had never heard her speak with so much raw emotion. Others said she sounded tired, almost like someone who had been trying to stay strong for too long. And then the questions began. What happened? Why did she sound that way? What was she trying to tell the world? Her story spread quickly, like ripples moving across a quiet lake. At first, only a few fans were talking. Then, more joined in. And before long, her moment of openness became a global conversation. Comment sections filled up. Videos popped up. Articles appeared. People picked apart every detail, every expression, every pause. It was as if her short message had unlocked a door people had been waiting to open. But it was not only her words that caused the reaction, it was the timing. The world had not heard much from her for a while, so when she finally spoke up, her voice felt new again. People always notice when someone returns after being quiet, and this time they listened even more closely. The combination of her silence and her sudden honesty created something powerful, something that made people feel like she was stepping into a different chapter of her life. Another thing that drew attention was the topic she touched on. She spoke about feeling distant from herself at times. She spoke about moments when she had to rebuild her strength from the ground up. Many people connected with this because they had felt the same in their own lives. That connection made her story spread faster, as if people were passing it to others, saying, "Listen to this? It sounds familiar." Still, not everyone reacted kindly. Some misunderstood her. Some twisted her words. Some doubted her feelings. But even their criticism added to the growing storm around her. Every opinion, whether warm or cold, pushed her name further into the spotlight. And then, something else happened. Someone asked her a simple question about her past, something she had talked about before. But the way she answered this time was different. It felt cautious. It felt delicate, like someone choosing their steps carefully on a path filled with memories. People noticed. They wondered why her tone had changed. Was she struggling? Was she holding something back? Or was she simply tired of being misunderstood? That one answer turned into another spark, one that added even more fuel to the growing interest around her. Soon, conversations were not just about the moment she shared. People began looking back at older clips, older interviews, older stories she had shared years ago. They compared them to her recent words. They searched for clues. They wondered if they had missed something before. And with each new question, the spotlight grew brighter. What surprised many people the most was not the story itself, but the feeling behind it. There was softness in her eyes that people had not seen in a while. There was a sense of someone who had been through something heavy and was still finding her way out of it. This made people look at her differently, not as a celebrity, not as a public figure, but as a person who was simply trying to heal. This shift in how people saw her is what truly sparked the massive wave of attention. It was not just the words she spoke. It was the heart behind them, the emotion she did not hide, the truth she allowed to slip through the cracks. People felt it. And once they felt it, they could not look away. Every spark built on the one before it, until suddenly, the question echoing everywhere was not just what did she say, but what is she going through? Because to understand why her honesty hit so deeply, we have to look at the feelings she has been carrying, the silent battles she has fought, and the personal storms she has been trying to walk through with courage. Jada's emotional and personal struggles. Behind every public smile, there is often a private story, and Jada's story is one that many have never seen fully. For years, she has walked a delicate path, balancing the life she shows to the world with the life she keeps quietly for herself. Her strength is obvious to everyone, but strength does not mean that life is easy. It simply means she continues moving forward even when the weight feels heavy. Jada has always seemed to carry a quiet intensity in the way she approaches life. She reflects deeply on her choices, on her relationships, and on who she wants to be. But reflection often comes with its own kind of struggle. It is a gentle tug-of-war inside her mind, where love, doubt, hope, and fear can all meet in the same space. For someone like Jada, who shares openly but also protects her private world, this tug-of-war has always been especially challenging. Over the past months, signs of this struggle have become visible to those paying close attention. The tired lines on her face are subtle, but they are there. The pauses in her speech, the moments when her gaze drifts for just a second longer, hint at someone who is processing a lot internally. Life has thrown her moments of joy, of course, but also moments of heartbreak and confusion. Every experience adds another layer to her story, a layer that most of the world does not get to see. One of the hardest parts of her journey is managing the expectations placed on her. From the outside, it may seem simple. She is a famous woman, a wife, a mother, a public voice. But in reality, these roles are full of pressures that are invisible to the casual observer. She is constantly balancing what the world wants her to be with what she knows she truly is. It is a careful dance, and it is exhausting at times. Imagine carrying the weight of so many eyes on you, all expecting different things while trying to stay true to yourself. Jada's family adds another dimension to her life. Love can be a source of joy, but it can also magnify struggles. She deeply cares about her children and her partner, and she wants the best for them. At the same time, she wants to be seen and understood for who she is, not just the roles she plays. That desire to be seen is human, but in the spotlight, it becomes complicated. Every choice she makes can be analyzed. Every word she says can be interpreted in ways she did not intend. It is a delicate balance, and it takes emotional energy to maintain it. Amidst these pressures, Jada has worked hard to grow and learn from her experiences. She has faced moments where she had to confront herself, her fears, and even her past mistakes. These moments are not always easy, but they are essential to her journey. They show her resilience and her determination to become a better version of herself. Even when the world watches, she is still learning, still evolving, and still reaching for a sense of peace and clarity. Her openness in recent weeks is part of that growth. By sharing small pieces of her internal world, she invites others to understand her humanity. She does not claim to have all the answers, but she offers a window into the complexity of being a person in the public eye while holding on to her private self. That window is powerful because it allows people to connect with her not as a celebrity, but as someone who experiences life in the same ways they do, with hopes, fears, mistakes, and courage. This emotional journey has not been straightforward. There have been setbacks, moments of doubt, and times when the weight of the world felt particularly heavy. But there have also been moments of triumph, clarity, and joy. These contrasting experiences shape who she is today. They give her depth, wisdom, and empathy. And while the world often only sees the surface, those who look closely can sense the richness of her journey. Understanding Jada's personal struggles helps explain why her recent statements and appearances feel so impactful. They are not simply words, they are reflections of her ongoing process of growth and self-discovery. They remind us that even people who seem strong and composed carry layers of complexity within them. It is this human quality that makes her story resonate with so many. As she continues to navigate her internal and external worlds, one thing becomes clear. Jada's journey is far from over. She is moving through a season of reflection, learning, and careful decision-making. The choices she makes in her personal life ripple outward, influencing how the public sees her, how her family experiences her, and how her story unfolds in the weeks to come. What happened behind the scenes, behind the headlines and public appearances, Jada Smith and Will Smith share a bond that has been tested in ways few people can imagine. Their story is not one of perfection. It is a story of two people learning, growing, and sometimes stumbling together in the bright glare of the world's eyes. Many people see them as a couple, as a famous duo, but the truth is that their connection is far more complex than any photograph or interview can show. For years, they have been partners in life, navigating challenges that range from the ordinary to the extraordinary. Every relationship has moments of doubt, tension, and misunderstanding, and theirs is no exception. But what makes their journey unique is that they face these challenges while the whole world watches, analyzing each glance, each word, and each decision. Imagine trying to work out your personal struggles when millions of people are guessing at every step. That is the kind of pressure they live with daily. Despite these pressures, Jada and Will have built a deep understanding of one another. They have shared dreams, setbacks, laughter, and tears. They have had to make difficult choices together, and those choices have sometimes been misunderstood or misrepresented by the public. But behind closed doors, they continue to learn about each other and find ways to support one another through life's twists and turns. Their relationship is like a living story, constantly evolving, full of lessons learned and new discoveries. One of the challenges they face is balancing their individuality with their partnership. Both Jada and Will are strong personalities, creative minds, and independent thinkers. This is part of what draws them together, but it also creates friction. Maintaining love, respect, and patience while honoring their personal journeys requires effort, reflection, and sometimes sacrifice. It is not always simple, but it is genuine. And that authenticity is part of what draws people to watch and care about their lives. Recently, the public has speculated about tensions, distance, or changes in their relationship. Some of this speculation is fueled by social media, some by interviews, and some by the natural curiosity of fans. But speculation is not the whole story. Jada and Will communicate in ways the world cannot always see. They have private moments of understanding, healing, and conversation that are invisible to others. These moments are essential to the bond they continue to nurture. Their love is also shaped by the responsibilities of family. Together, they have children, homes, and commitments that require constant attention. Jada's personal struggles affect the family, but they also bring the family closer. Challenges do not weaken them. They provide opportunities for growth, compassion, and shared understanding. Even in difficult seasons, there is a sense of partnership, a commitment to weather the storms together while celebrating the joys that come their way. Another layer of their story is the public perception. They must decide how much to share, what to protect, and when to stay silent. Every choice matters because millions of people are watching, interpreting, and sometimes judging. This can be exhausting, but it also shows the care they take in protecting the heart of their relationship. Their connection is their own, and while the world sees fragments, the full story remains private and sacred. What makes this period in their lives particularly interesting is that they are both evolving as individuals while evolving together as a couple. Each has faced personal struggles that shape how they show up in the relationship. Jada's recent openness about her emotions, challenges, and reflections has naturally influenced how they navigate life together. Their story is intertwined, not only in love but in mutual growth, learning, and sometimes compromise. Despite everything, one thing is clear: there is love, care, and commitment beneath the surface. The world may not always understand it fully, and headlines may exaggerate, but the reality of their partnership is built on years of shared experience, trust, and a desire to keep moving forward together. They continue to choose one another even when life feels heavy or unpredictable. And as we consider their relationship, it becomes apparent that Jada's personal journey cannot be separated from her family and the life she shares with Will. Understanding their bond gives insight into the choices she makes, the way she presents herself publicly, and the deeper currents of emotion that run beneath her calm exterior. Their story is a reminder that love, especially under scrutiny, is never simple, but it is always human. Supporters, critics, and the unexpected voices. When Jada Smith's recent moments of openness began circulating, the world responded almost instantly. People everywhere had opinions, and those opinions came in waves, some gentle and supportive, others sharp and critical. Social media, news outlets, and even casual conversations became spaces where her life was examined, celebrated, and debated. It is remarkable how one person's story can ripple so far and wide, touching so many hearts, sparking so many conversations. Support came quickly from those who have watched her journey for years. Fans who have admired her honesty and resilience felt connected to her in a new way. They praised her courage for sharing pieces of her life that many would keep hidden. Some wrote heartfelt messages, thanking her for her transparency and vulnerability, saying that seeing someone they admire navigate life's struggles made them feel less alone. Their words were warm, encouraging, and full of empathy, a reminder that genuine support can be a quiet, powerful force. Critics, however, were not far behind. Some questioned her intentions, scrutinized her every word, and interpreted her openness as dramatic or calculated. They argued that sharing private thoughts publicly invites misunderstanding, and they dissected her statements in ways that sometimes felt harsh or unfair. Yet even these critical voices reveal something important. People are paying attention. They are invested in her story, and whether their judgment is kind or cruel, it is a reflection of how much influence she carries simply by being herself. Then there were voices that surprised many. Friends, colleagues, and unexpected commentators shared reflections on her journey. Some highlighted the strength it takes to stand up to public scrutiny. Others offered insights into her growth, applauding the way she has learned to navigate life's challenges with dignity. These perspectives created a mosaic of understanding, showing that reactions to Jada's story are never one-dimensional. People see her through many lenses, and each lens adds to the complexity of her public image. One striking feature of the public response is how it mirrors the different sides of human nature. Some respond with kindness, others with judgment, and many with a mixture of both. These reactions are a reflection of our curiosity, our need to connect with stories that resonate, and sometimes our tendency to project our own experiences onto someone else's life. In Jada's case, people's responses reveal not only who she is, but also who we are when we watch someone navigate struggle, growth, and self-reflection. Interestingly, the conversations around her also highlight the tension between celebrity and humanity. As a public figure, every action, word, or facial expression becomes a topic for debate. Yet beneath this intense scrutiny is a woman trying to live authentically. She is learning, evolving, and facing life's challenges just like anyone else. The public response underscores this duality: fascination with her as a star and recognition of her as a human being. Despite all the noise, Jada continues to move forward. She is not defined solely by public opinion. Instead, she absorbs what resonates, reflects on what matters, and carefully chooses how to respond. Her journey is guided by self-awareness, family, and inner strength. The reactions she receives are part of the world she lives in, but they do not dictate who she is or who she wants to become. This balance between external perception and internal truth is delicate, but it is at the heart of her story. Many people find themselves learning from her example. Seeing someone navigate criticism and praise while remaining true to themselves is inspiring. It reminds us that life is never just black and white. There are shades of complexity, moments of doubt, and periods of quiet growth. Jada's journey teaches patience, empathy, and courage. It encourages people to reflect on their own lives, their own struggles, and the ways they choose to show up for themselves and others. Through all this attention, one message becomes clear: The world is watching not just the woman Jada presents, but the person she truly is underneath. Supporters, critics, and unexpected voices all contribute to a conversation that is bigger than headlines. It is a conversation about life, vulnerability, and the courage it takes to be authentic in the face of immense scrutiny. And, as we step into the next part of this story, we turn our focus to Jada's future. Understanding the reactions of those around her gives context to the choices she may make. Next, decisions about her family, her career, and the path she will walk in the coming months. The future is full of possibilities, and how she navigates it will reveal even more about the woman behind the headlines. What this means for Jada's future. Jada Smith stands at a point in her life where the past, the present, and the future seem to meet. The spotlight is brighter than ever, but it also brings her a unique opportunity to shape her story on her own terms. Every choice she makes now carries weight, not just for herself, but for her family, her fans, and the way the world sees her. It is a moment full of possibility, a chance to step forward with both care and courage. Moving ahead, Jada can continue sharing pieces of her journey, offering glimpses into her life that inspire and connect with others. Her experiences have given her a voice that is both powerful and relatable. A voice that can remind people they are not alone in facing life's struggles. At the same time, she has the freedom to protect parts of her life that are private, holding them close as a source of personal strength. Balancing openness with privacy is something she has learned over the years, and it will guide her as she moves forward. Family will continue to play a central role in her path. Her bond with Will, her children, and those closest to her shapes every decision she makes. Love, support, and shared experiences provide grounding even when the world watches closely. Her story is deeply intertwined with theirs, a reminder that growth and resilience are often nurtured within the relationships we hold dear. Jada's career and public presence also offer new possibilities. She can explore creative projects, take risks, and redefine herself in ways that feel authentic. Each choice is a brushstroke in her unfolding story, an opportunity to express who she is beyond what the headlines suggest. Feedback from supporters and critics alike may guide her, but it will not define her. Her journey is hers to navigate, step by step. Above all, Jada's future is about growth and self-discovery. She has faced challenges, learned lessons, and developed resilience. And the road ahead will offer more chances to explore, reflect, and embrace her truth. Life may not always be simple, but her courage and intention create a foundation for what is to come. Her story is still being written, and the next chapter promises new understanding, new strength, and a deeper connection to herself and those around her. In the final part of our video, we step back and reflect on what Jada's journey teaches us about resilience, humanity, and the courage to live openly in a complicated world. If you enjoyed this video, like and subscribe, and also click the next video shown on your screen.